Donald Trump suffering a painful cognitive failure at a cabinet meeting on live television. Clear evidence of presidential cognitive issues that the corporate press is going to ignore because it's either silly Trump or he didn't mean it or he was confused. Trump is asked by a reporter, Ukraine asked the international court to go after Russia for using toxic chemicals in the war. Trump doesn't know what the hell's going on, asks Pete Hegseth very quietly, do you know about this? Hegseth goes, John might know. And Trump just goes, I don't know. Can someone tell me what my policy is on this?
On Ukraine, the Ukrainians have asked the international court to go after Russia for using toxic chemicals in the fight. Germany and the Netherlands have intelligence saying that. What does U.S. intelligence believe, and what do you believe about the use of chemical weapons? And would you agree that that's the case for the
While the question's asked, Trump knows he doesn't know a damn thing. He leans over and says, what do we know? What do we know about this? What do we know about this? And Hegseth is like, oh, John might know. John might know.
Well, ask John maybe to discuss it if you'd like, John.
Well, Mr. President, obviously chemical weapons, if it's documented and its use, it's illegal. It's against all international laws of armed conflict and treaties. And obviously I can't share in this room with this audience the intelligence that I can share with you privately, but obviously you're not going to stand or allow for any violations of international law by anyone.
Did you understand what just happened there? If this were Biden, it would be a week on Fox News. Trump immediately identified, I don't have a clue in hell what they're talking to me about. So he goes to Pete Hegseth. Who knows about this? Hegseth goes, talk to John. And John tells Trump what his policy is. That's the sick thing of it. Trump is told, Mr. President, of course, you would never stand for the use of chemical weapons, right? Of course I wouldn't. Thanks, John, for telling me what my position is. This is also, by the way, what happens when you skip intelligence briefings. Trump then asked, did you approve of the pause of weapons shipments to Ukraine? And Trump goes, I don't know who ordered that pause. Why don't you tell me?
We're getting along with China very well.
Mr. President, you have sent more weapons to Ukraine, as you said last night. Last week, the Pentagon paused some shipments of weapons to Ukraine. Did you approve of that pause?
We wanted to put defensive weapons because Putin is not treating human beings right. He's killing too many people. So we're sending some defensive weapons to Ukraine, and I've approved that.
So who ordered the pause last week?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
Trump asking the reporter, you tell me who in my administration ordered the pause. If Biden had said this, it would be news for weeks with 100 stories about his mental acuity. A shadow government, Biden's a clone, he doesn't know what's going on. And it is now a daily occurrence, which under Biden would be, we got to remove this guy. Trump is checked out. He doesn't have the mental acuity to understand anything. He then rambled about the Great Depression and wrongly stated that after the Great Depression, the United States implemented tariffs. Little problem with this. Tariffs were before the Great Depression.
Country had a Great Depression, and then after the Depression, long after it started, they brought back tariffs to see if they could save it, but it took them really 25 years. Wouldn't you say about 25 years to get out of the Great Depression? A lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, by all estimates, it took 10 to 12 years to get out of the Great Depression, but the Great Depression was after the enacting of tariffs, not before. Just facts, right? But it's Trump. Legacy and corporate media won't touch it. The cabinet meeting then went completely off the rails. Trump starting to talk about gold leafing the corners.
Painted the room a nice color, beige color, and it's been really something. The only question is, will I gold leaf the corners, you could maybe tell me my cabinet could take a vote. You see the top line moldings, and the only question is, do you go leaf it? Because you can't paint it. If you paint it, it won't look good because they've never found a paint that looks like gold. You see that?
One of Trump's favorite topics, paint just never really looks like gold. I want people to understand something. This is the meeting. People wonder, oh, they talked to the press for 15 minutes, but clearly they must spend hours in a meeting talking about the serious issues, right? Wrong. Unlike in other administrations, there is no behind the scenes. The full meeting is this. It's made for TV. There is no other part of this. Trump again says China has no wind farms. China actually leads the world in wind capacity.
To what they'll be in about a year from now, but we're setting records. And wind is a very expensive form of energy. It's very bad for your beautiful surroundings, the plains and the valleys, and the birds are dying all over the place. You know, the whole thing is a disaster. They're almost exclusively made in China. Not that I have anything against China, because I don't have a great relationship with President Xi, but I asked him, how many wind farms do you have? He makes them, but they don't have a lot of wind farms, I'll tell you, very, very few. And wind is tremendously expensive and is very ugly. And if you own a house that's inside of a windmill, your house is worth less than half. And you hear noises. And interestingly, in New England, you probably read where for 50 years, they had 2 wells washed up, 50 years. And last summer, they had 14 washed up. Now, I'm not saying that's the wind farm that was built, but maybe it is, right? Probably is.
I'm not saying the wind farms in Massachusetts caused whales to wash up, but it probably is. And then this just going so off the rails, that Fox News felt they had no choice but to cut away to protect Donald Trump.
It's nothing. We also painted the room a nice color, beige color, and it's been really something. The only question is, will I gold leaf the corners? You could maybe tell me my cabinet could take a vote. You see the top line moldings. And the only question is, do you go leaf it? Because you can't paint it. If you paint it, it won't look good because they've never found a paint that looks like gold. You see that in the Oval Office.
All right, we're about half past the hour here. This is America Reports. We have been watching this cabinet.
So Fox gets the hell out of there as Trump basically rants like a guy in Home Depot about which paint is good versus not so good. That was the cabinet meeting. There was no high-level discussion behind the scenes before, after. That was the cabinet meeting. Corporate media will not talk about what's going on with this guy's brain. Tragic, tragic stuff. Are you feeling stuck in your job? Many people are. And true career growth does require some strategic thinking, and that's where Strawberry.me comes in. Our sponsor, Strawberry.me, is a platform that will connect you with certified personal coaches specializing in career growth. If you're planning your next move, transitioning fields, if you want to lead more effectively, they can help. This is not therapy. This is not bogus generic advice. These are certified trained professionals who work with you to create a personalized plan that aligns with your goals and your values. You can clarify your challenges, build a strategy, and maybe most importantly, they'll hold you accountable every step of the way. So if you're ready for the next step, visit strawberry.me/Pacman. There's a short quiz. It'll match you with the right coach. Sessions are virtual, flexible, and also designed to work with your schedule. So stop guessing and start growing. Go to strawberry.me/Pacman to get started. And the link is in the description.